You're softening up to Yankee stuff. I like you.
There you go. By the way, good to see you. D-Train has joined us now. Dontrell Willis out on set with us. Good to see you, D. Let's talk a little NLDS. That continues today, but both of those series start. And, these can both end today in sweeps. The Dodgers a win, it's over. The Brewers a win, it's over. So the Phillies, to try to avoid getting swept, they're going to turn over to their veteran, Aaron Nola, who gets the ball. Only a surprise in the fact that he's had an injury-riddled, and then when he's been healthy, he just hasn't been good, his normal self this year. But they're giving him with the trust to try to save their season, D-Train. They had other options, namely Ranger Suarez. What's your take on this decision by the Phils?
Well, it's not every day that someone has a 6 ERA and 17 starts and get a chance to start pitch in a deciding ball game. But Aaron Nola has experience. This will be his 11th postseason start, but this is his first in an elimination game. He's coming off a start where he went 8 innings, which was his best start of the season. 9 strikeouts, only 2 hits. So they're hoping that's able to carry over into the postseason. Also, I think the Phillies, they realize they don't want to have 3 lefty looks back to back to back. So they're trusting their veteran to go out there the first time to the lineup. I don't believe that leash is going to be very long because it's a decisive ball game because you have firepower in that bullpen. But they're hoping that Nola will be able to settle in and slow their bats down, change the eye level, and have that sinker and get some ground balls. And hopefully their offense, some of the key guys can get going behind him.
Yeah, look, I mean, Rob Thompson knows his team better than anyone. And, look, I've been big on the Phillies the last few years. We've talked about it, and they seem to always come up short. But when you talked about the Phillies, everyone would say, well, you got to face Nola and Wheeler. Mm-hmm. Nola and Wheeler. So Aaron Nola, he's a big-time pitcher. I don't care what he's done this regular season. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the situation. I think the Phillies have a lot of confidence in him. And, look, you go with the horses that got you here.
I'll tell you what, I think that decision of not having a third lefty facing the Dodgers, it have a lot to do coming from Dave Dombrowski, Rob, and the whole front office. And it's because, as a player, we all know that in situations like that, especially the Dodgers beating Philadelphia the way they had, you want to try to change angle. Mm-hmm. As a player, if I see 3 lefties in a row, by the second one, I'm going to be better.
Right.
Regardless. And then you know that the Dodgers are professional hitters. Now, remember that the Phillies are staying at the hotel.
Yeah.
So be careful with what you say.
I agree with you, Poppy. I mean, seeing 3 lefties in a row, it's like Christmas, right? And I like the move of always mixing the righties and the lefties. But, Kevin, I think is a bigger picture than this. I mean, this may be the most consequential game over the last 5 years for the Phillies. Mm-hmm. Because is it the last dance? And if they lose, is this going to be, are we going to have this team moving forward? I think there'll be a different team next year. So it's a lot at stake. And Nola's a guy with experience. This is his 11th career start in the playoffs. I like the move. A lot on the line.
They've not recovered from Arizona stunning them twice at their place in the playoffs a couple years ago. And so now Schwarber's a free agent after this, Real Muto a free. So it is a turning point. You're right. And they're facing a guy in the Dodgers in Yamamoto train who has been just flat out sensational.
This guy's a complete breakfast. He throws everything at you. I love his mound presence. I love everything. It seems like that clunker that he threw in Korea was 10 years ago. He has really built himself into a frontline ace that can go up against anybody's ace. It doesn't matter if you're on the road or at home. A 1.5 ERA over his last 7 starts in the regular season. He dealt in the wild card, striking out 9. You look at the fastball command. He doesn't waste pitches. He can beat you at the top of the zone as well as at the bottom of the zone. With the fastball, it runs anywhere from 95 to 98, but he went to the nasty breaking ball. We all know that he likes the split finger, but to be able to change speeds and change eye level with that nasty whooper-dooper on both sides of the plate, listen, man, it's going to be fun. So you're telling me right now, if you're Dave Roberts and company, you are all in. You're not trying to give the Phillies any life. They're sending their best wild card out there right now in Yamamoto.
What is a complete breakfast for you?
Man, you got to eat everything. Toast, cereal, little OJ, everything you need, baby. It's going to be a
We got
fight
40-40 cereal last night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some still on the desk. A-Rod 40-40 cereal. I kind of love that.
The Dodgers are set up exactly how they want to be set up. Everyone talked about the Los Angeles Dodgers struggling this year, and here we are in the postseason. They're gone straight through Philly the first 2 games. Their pitching rotation is set up. This is what you want if you're a Los Angeles Dodgers fan. Where's your ring today?
I didn't want to mess. I didn't want to make everybody upset. They already mad at me because I messed with you yesterday. So I'm on thin ice.
Give it a day?
Yeah, I'm on
there
thin
you
ice.
go. Hey, including the postseason, Tigers manager A.J. Hinch is 1 win away from 1,000 career wins. Pretty good. He'd certainly love to get it to keep their season going. And he speaks with our Tom Verducci.
Phillies among those facing elimination on Wednesday. Here's Bryce Harper on whether going on the road might be a good thing.
I don't feel that way. I mean, I love playing at the bank. I love our fans. I boo myself when I get out. I'm the same way. So I entrust in what they do. They show up for us every day. They spend their hard-earned dollar to come watch us play. They expect greatness out of us. I expect greatness out of myself and my teammates as well. So if they believe that, then I don't know what's going through their head or their mindset. I'll probably get booed tomorrow night too. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, what are we talking about?
That was a really good atmosphere to play baseball in. Really fun. You felt the love for the Phillies. You felt the love for the city. And so I expect the Dodger Nation to come and show the love for us as a team and us as a city. So I'm expecting it to be really loud.
Yeah, series goes back to Los Angeles for Game 3. Here's the pitching matchup. Aaron Nola, who was wobbly down the stretch. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, big game medal tested for the Dodgers. And let's start our discussion on the visiting side with Aaron Nola. So the Phillies facing elimination. And they've got a guy on the mound whose first inning ERA is near 8.
Right.
Short leash, I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so. And look, Aaron Nola, we saw the numbers. There was times where he just didn't have the velocity, especially coming off the IL. But I think this is a situation where Rob Thompson says, look, he trusts Aaron Nola, but it's going to be a short leash. It's going to be a situation, if you go into this start as a pitcher, you have to have the mindset that I'm just going to empty the tank. I'm just going to let it eat. I'm going to pitch like it's the 9th inning and just get after every hitter. And then all of a sudden, if my safety net, I've got Ranger Suarez sitting out there in the bullpen because it is do or die for the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, Ranger Suarez was somebody people were talking about maybe making the start in Game 3 facing elimination. It's going to be Nola. On the other side, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he's already been brilliant in the postseason. Yeah, he needs the extra rest between starts because that's how he grew up pitching. But I think the Dodgers have a lot of confidence in him.
They should. And, look, he's going to get Cy Young votes even this year. He has been so good. He's got a couple weapons that I want to dive into right now. One of them being that split. Now, remember Yamamoto last year when he burst on the scene? He had that shoulder issue. So there wasn't the same finish on the pitch. He wasn't getting through that split as well until the end of the year. And then he had a really nice little playoff run. But I got to tell you, Yamamoto with this split, this is such a weapon. Opponents hitting 119 against this pitch. And again, like I said, a reason why he has gone the last 7 starts with a sub-1 ERA is because of that split. You can see the numbers against it. That's 5th. We're top 10 in a lot of these different categories. But it's not so much just the split from Yamamoto. One thing that really stood out to me, that last start against the Reds in the wild card series, was that big curveball. This pitch was absolutely nasty. He was throwing it to both righties and lefties. It's not a situation where he goes split heavy to lefties and then all of a sudden he snaps off that breaking ball. He's throwing it to, like I said, you see De La Cruz got him twice with that. He had 9 punch outs in this game, 5 of them on that curveball. So he was a big finisher as well. So I'm telling you, you heard Bryce Harper talking about having their hands full playing in Dodger Stadium. They will against Yamamoto.
Boy, these numbers, Case, not really encouraging for Philadelphia sports fans who had to endure an Eagles loss to the Broncos on Sunday. And now they're down 0-2 going back to L.A.
Yeah.
And the top of their lineup has been really quiet so far.
Well, I think the biggest thing when you think of the Phillies, you think of that top of that lineup. You think of Turner, you think of Harper, you think of Schwarber, and they've all kind of scuffled out the gates. Obviously, the pitching for the Dodgers has been really good with Ohtani and Snell. The way they've been pitching, they tried to fight back a couple times early against that bullpen and weren't able to. But I tell you what. You talk about the Phillies. These stars need to be stars coming out in L.A. in Game 3 because Turner sets the table. Schwarber's obviously going to be up there for MVP, one of the best power hitters in the game. Schwarber's can change a game right now, and same with Bryce Harper. I mean, you're talking about 3 of the best players in all of baseball. We need them. The Phillies fans and those 3 guys expect, hey, listen, we got to be able to show up in Game 3 coming out there in L.A.
They nearly snatched it back in Game 2.
They did.
The 9th inning got dicey, and maybe as a result, Dave Roberts, in his media availability on the off day, said that Roki Sasaki is now the primary 9th inning option, according to this ex-post by Bob Nightingale. Not surprising. I mean, they've been kind of slow playing this weapon. He's going to be the guy we see in the ninth to win it.
Yeah, and look, watching Sasaki pitch, I think this started back in the regular season. He had a chance to pitch against the D-backs when he came back off the IL. And it was a situation where Dave Roberts said, look, man, we want you to rear back, 100, throw that split. No pressure at all. We'll see how this goes. Then he had a game. I watched him in Seattle. And I'm like, man, all of a sudden, his tempo was different. He was a deer in headlights in April. But I'm telling you, man, he was a different guy. And they needed that because that bullpen, the way it was shaping up, especially in the month of September.
I mean, what good team doesn't have a shaky bullpen right now? You know, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Dodgers were shaky, but they've got this dude waiting in the ninth now, and he's official in the back of a game. So we're going to take another break.
It's just one game at a time. And that's just the way you got to look at it. You got to slow things down, one inning at a time, really, and come out and relax and be yourselves. Don't try to do too much.
You just figure out ways to win. You know, it's not always going to look pretty, but you just figure it out. Like, sometimes you got to go rogue. Sometimes you got to do things that are not normal. But that's just the beauty of the knowledge that we have on this team, the talent we have on the team, and the love for each other.
You acknowledge it, obviously. I think I said it yesterday. It's first of three. So, you know, we win tomorrow, win the next one, you get back home. So I think got to go 1-0 tomorrow. Obviously, that's a really good team over there, and they're, you know, wanting to do it at home, things like that. So just got to play our game and go figure it out.
Yeah, you heard sound there respectively. Rob Thompson, Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, and Steve. For some reason, this one doesn't feel good for the Phillies, right? With Yamamoto on the bump facing Aaron Nola. Remember, Yamamoto had 2.49 ERA throughout the course of the season. His last time out going against the Reds, he got touched a little bit early in the beginning of the game, but then he was dominant the rest of the way. It is, I will take a Hunter Pence word about Yamamoto's pitching. It's artistry watching him go out there and have this type of success he has, dissecting lineups with different pitches. And it almost feels like a perfect situation for the Dodgers to have their ace going back home to LA at this point. It's going to be tough for the Phillies, but they have to find a way to scratch. And maybe they can take momentum from the latter part of the last game where they felt like they got to the bullpen a little bit and Blake Trinan before Roki Sasaki had to come in. But the Phillies have to find offense early and often in this next one, and it's going to be tough against Yamamoto.
Yeah, I think that one of the things I'm just still a little confused by for the Phillies is going with Aaron Nola as the starter in this game. He did his last start. He went 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 run against Minnesota. Now, remember, Minnesota was undermanned at the end of the year. They had made a lot of trades. They were, they weren't playing great at the end of the season. And I know he threw well that game, but prior to that, he'd given up 4 runs, 6 runs, and he did have another game against the Mets in which he shut them down. But then he gave up 8 runs in the start before that. And, he had a 5 ERA in the month of September, although it ended with a good start. But I just keep looking at it thinking Ranger Suarez, the plan they have is that Nola would start the game and that Suarez would piggyback in case they need him.
Right.
I think to myself, well, Ranger Suarez in the postseason has made 10 appearances, 8 starts, and he has in his career a 1.43 earned run average. I don't want to pitch somebody until they get in trouble. I want to start somebody who's not going to get in trouble. And to me, that would be Ranger Suarez, and he can go deep into the game to 6 or 7 innings and get you close to the bridge to get you to Duran at the end. I'm just a little confused by it. I love Nola in his career. Like, he's a great guy. He's a fantastic guy. We've interviewed him every year. He's an excellent pitcher. He's not had his best season. He's had injuries. But I just think to myself, who gives you the best chance against Ohtani left-handed, Freeman left-handed? And I understand that Freeman and Ohtani have some numbers against Suarez. I still would start him in this game over Aaron Nola.
Yeah, I think just from watching, right, and our eyes watching Aaron Nola, knowing that he's not the same this year, it gives you hesitation going into this game. And I imagine the hook will be quick, but I like your point about Ranger Suarez being able to attack lefties early in this game, because you feel like the Dodgers, if they get off to a great start offensively, it's going to be tough for the Phillies to come back on Yamamoto. You just don't want to be down in the hole early in the game against one of the game's best starting pitchers that we have. So I hate agreeing with you. I've said this multiple times today, but for some reason we're on the same page today, and I don't like it.
Thanks for finally getting on the right page, Ax. I really do appreciate that. Finally, you've caught on here. Just ride the coattails. That's all you have to do to great success. And so I just a suggestion there. So look, the other part is Turner, Schwarber, Harper. I mean, if they don't produce, the Phillies aren't going to win.
You need your big dogs. That's it, plain and simple. What did Schwarber call you when we went into the locker room?
He called me big dog.
We need the big dogs. That's plain and simple.
Yeah, Schwarb's and I are tight. He did in spring training after the interview. He said, "Hey, big dog, thanks for coming in and interviewing me." And he said, "I know the dog. I'll see you later." When he talked to you,
no player has ever said to anybody, "Thank you for coming and interviewing me." No,
Schwarber's so nice. He's so nice. He did. He's a really good guy, and he does a great job with interviews. He's the voice of that team for sure. And they need him to produce. And look, because this could be his last game as a Philly. Free agent at the end of the year. If they lose today, they're done. They're going home. So this is critical. Suarez, too, by the way, pitching for his Philly life. He's going to be a free agent. Realmuto, free agent. So there's a lot going on, and some important stuff right now for the Phillies as they're fighting to stay alive. All right, we round second, go to third with a triple. Seattle Mariners doubled up the Detroit Tigers.
Back to the leadoff spot. Here are Steve Phillips and Xavier Scruggs.
Busy day of baseball, 3 o'clock Eastern time, Mariners, Tigers, 5 o'clock, Brewers, Cubs, 7 o'clock, Blue Jays, Yankees, and then 9 o'clock Eastern time, Phillies and Dodgers. We'll take a look at those game threes in the National League tonight. And coming off an off day, so everybody's fresh and ready to go again. But we talked a little bit about the Phillies starting Aaron Nola in that game, going to back him up with Ranger Suarez. And the reason that they can is because with the built-in off days, that game 4 could be started by Christopher Sanchez, the game 1 starter, and game 5 on full rest. And game 5 can be started by Jesus Luzardo on full rest. And so they can go with back-to-back piggyback starters, can the Phillies, with Nola and then Ranger Suarez. But Yamamoto, to your point on the other side, he's looked great. And we've seen some emotion from him as well, coming off the mound a few times. It just feels like, again, in this game, there's an advantage for the Dodgers to close this one out.
I don't even like the matchup that we're looking at on the screen. If you're the Phillies, you can't feel extremely confident about the starting pitching matchup. Take out the fact that Yamamoto is one of the best starters in Major League Baseball, but just knowing that Nola is not Nola right now. Yes, we can hope for a miracle and hope that we see him do something we saw him do in the regular season against the Twins. But this has not been Aaron Nola. So I'm a little concerned about the matchup itself. And then I'm thinking about how Yamamoto has looked recently, even going back against the Reds. They were able to scratch something early, but then he just shut them down the rest of the way. And the command that he's had with all of his stuff, it flat out looks like art. When he's pitching, it looks like a piece of art, Steve. And the stuff looks untouchable with the not just the velocity, but also the sharpness of his breaking stuff, and he can place it where he wants to. I don't even like the pitching matchup. What I will say is this. I thought they might have started Suarez because of the lefty situation, knowing that early on it's important to get Freddie Freeman out. It's important to get Ohtani out, because if the Phillies don't get off to the right start and the Dodgers start banging at home, it's going to be tough to come back against Yamamoto.
Yeah, it is. Now, I will tell you that there are some numbers against Suarez with Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. But I would still start him in the game, only because he's got a 1 point. This is not a small sample size. He's got 8 postseason starts, 2 relief appearances, Ranger Suarez does, and a 1.43 ERA while doing it. And I understand that They looked at it. They're starting Nola because he's not come out of the bullpen, and so if they were going to start Suarez, they don't like Nola coming in on the bullpen. But don't you think Suarez has the ability to get it to your actual real relievers and not have to use Nola in it? And so, and again, I feel like I'm knocking Aaron Nola, and I don't mean to do that. I'm just talking about how he's had health issues.
Year.
Right. And so, and look, none of it will matter if the Phillies don't hit. Right? Yeah. None of it will matter if the Phillies don't hit, because that's got to be the critical factor. If they don't hit, it's not going to matter at all. And they need Turner and Schwarber and Harper particularly to get it going a little bit and then roll from there.
Man, we're seeing some numbers on the screen that just, they're not right. Like these are guys that in the postseason they perform. So this hurts them because it usually takes pressure off of the starting pitcher, right? And if they can get going early, obviously that will help Aaron Nola. But I also wanted to bring something up to you, Steve, about the Dodgers back end of the bullpen, because we had a conversation a little earlier talking about, who Roberts trusts to close these games out. Is there still a question of whether or not he should go straight to Roki Sasaki if there's an opportunity to save this game?
Not for me. I mean, to me, it's really clear. And, he went to Blake Trinan in game 2, and they still won. But we were in our prep meeting, show meeting at MLB Network, and we were planning out the topics because it was during the Phillies-Dodgers game, setting up for the show after the game. And I said, you know what? Hold on. We're going to have to revamp everything because we're going to see a Phillies comeback right now because Blake Trinan's coming in to save the game. And again, Blake Trinan has been a great pitcher. And there were many years I would have loved to have him on my team as a reliever. But he's not been right himself physically this year. And even watching him throw, his mechanics don't look like they're in sync. And so, to bring him in to save a game when you've got Roki Sasaki in the bullpen, where, yes, he did pitch on Saturday, but he had an off day Sunday and rested to pitch on Monday. I wouldn't even have hesitated. Sasaki would have been the guy I bring in. And I really do look at it that Dave Roberts right now, and I think the season proved this, trust those guys who were your starting pitchers, not so much your relievers. And so, yeah, you've got your starters, but you've got starters in the bullpen and Tyler Glasnow and Clayton Kershaw and Emmett Sheehan, who threw a couple innings in the game the other day. You've got Sasaki, who started games for you. They're all motoring people down right now. So I would go with that group. Vesia, I would give Vesia a left-handed hitter or two in the lineup, but I think it'll be interesting to see. And I suspect Dave Roberts goes to Sasaki over anybody else in the 9th inning if it comes to that tonight.
Yeah, I don't see him fooling around anymore. And maybe I understood before last game, because remember, Sasaki only had one save. So you're thinking, okay, is this something I can continually count on him for and put this pressure on him going deep into this postseason? Because, you've seen the experience of Blake Trinan, and Trinan had a good series against the Reds and pitched well and had worked on some different things. But to your point, I think it don't matter about feelings or who's been doing something for the longest, the inexperience or experience. I need the dogs that are eating right now. Who are the ones showing me that they're capable of getting it done? And even though we've seen the emotions, the highs and the ups and downs of Roki Sasaki and him going to AAA to figure things out, he looks right now. And I like that in the back end to close out games.
Yeah, and we've been eating all show long today as well. In fact, my stomach's now a little dicey with all that I've had to eat during the course of the day.
We've been eating no plate, baby.
Oh, I see. By the way, the winner of the tickets, congratulations to Will in Chicago, who won the 2 tickets to Game 4, if necessary, Brewers-Cubs on Thursday. So congratulations to Will for that. All right.